and space to loot, so they've got to take a little bit longer to get their belongings together, and that might have given the opportunity for Sentinels to move, but it looks like Sentinels instead have opted for that small kind of shell outside of the POI, and GG, as you can see on your screens right now, have commanded that most southern building.
This is a difficult game to play though for Gaming Gladiators, because as you can see, they're all going to be on white armors. They are all going to be fairly poorly looted at this point, and they have to sit here for the remainder of the game, and unless anyone comes to them, they need to be trying to apply pressure with the weapons they've been able to gather in the early stages from distance to build up those Evos, because they're not going to be able to hit any harvesters.
Well, the one good thing for them is they can, using Alter, just scarper away a couple of those attachments from death boxes, switch out a few weapons should they need to once the teams start falling around them. Having that high ground, of course, on that building, the reason that teams are racing there, just great LOS. The amount of damage you can do without really revealing yourself so important. As we see Nemesis on our screens right now, who certainly were quiet yesterday.
They were. They had their ups and downs. I think that I have a lot of expectations on Nemesis. I always will, just whether it's a nostalgic feeling for Albrelelli or just how impressive a player Skittlecakes is alongside the new boy of Sacred. Nemesis have the recipe to be a good team, but we haven't necessarily seen it all kind of blend together. But they've done enough to get this far. If they start to get cooking, can they be a team to really put a statement on this series?
Speaking of cooking, you can see Fuse in game one here for Nemesis, so certainly something that's been cooking up in the background for them. A couple of knuckle clusters going in towards RC, who you can see here just sat in the pouch, thinking about maybe taking a little bit of a different route, seeing that Nemesis have managed to control that space above them. Looking at other teams around at the moment, quite a lot of teams actually moving through Monument and Fragment at the moment. You've got AG Global, VK Gaming, Zeddy Esports also approaching, but a fight down a tree at the moment is one that we're taking a look at here.
Already one knock as well. And it's whether you actually want to push up and take advantage of said knock, but at the same time, they're a little bit concerned about any other third parties in the area, so it looks like they're just going to hunker down for now. There are several teams around Tree, it would seem. But it looks like Kinatrope have been able to at least get one player away after that initial knock as well, because PXX were looking over it.
You can hear the whirring of the drones above the crypto players. Elite Esports were probably just thinking about third-partying this initially. See Light just playing a little bit further away from the rest of his team on the Altar. Drone has been destroyed, though, by the sounds of it. So they're not going to be able to scout the skies quite as they were a few moments ago. But some of the shots that this young man was hitting yesterday, Dan, very impressive highlight reel plays.
I think Elite are going to be playing with a lot of confidence, and we saw it in Split 1. We knew they were capable of it. You always question, does it translate into LAN as well? Because how many times have we seen EMEA teams dominate throughout their region, then get to LAN and just fall off a little bit, especially in the early days? It looks like they are in a position right now where they can actually capitalize on the damage that's already been done by other teams. And Kinatrope, it's just a matter of survival. Breach charges coming left, right, and center, and finally, you get the final one.
Yeah, the splash damage hurt. Kinatrope Club will be eliminated first in the lobby here. They won't survive the tribulations of Tree. And I want to go back to your point that you were making about EMEA teams. It's not unfamiliar for EMEA to start on the world stage well, but they just fall away, it feels, when the pressure starts to ramp up a little bit towards the latter stages of the tournament. My eyes is on that. If these EMEA teams continue to play well, will they be able to keep that level of performance a little bit later in the tournament?
Well, the team that did play well yesterday are RRQ, and they did fall away in their last couple of games, but they had set such a lead over the rest of the lobby. They were able to still finish in second place, and with Easy Flash being the top fragger from that lobby, I'm sure that he is going to be feeling full of himself as well coming into this one. But right now, it's a comfortable position they hold over towards the dome side. The question is, where do you actually try and locate yourself? Do you just take as much area as possible here, or can you find somewhere a little bit more solidified to call home?
They're just playing to stop the wrap from stacks and then walk their way in towards this zone. If it does pull out towards the lava, they'll be in a really good spot. This is interesting to look at, though, over at Harvester. This is completely isolated from the rest of the lobby, and it's Zeta Division, the team who went back-to-back, jumped from 20th to 6th in just 2 games yesterday. Well, they've got GK Esports in front of them. Some nice shots coming out from Mike there. Will allow his teammate to hit that beacon. The survey beacon will give them the information of where the teams around them will be.
Entirely isolated fight. Both teams having a similar path because they're just walking through to hit Evo Harvesters on their way down. And as you said, survey beacons, ring consoles, whatever they can find to get a little bit more on their Evo charge. Ring Pool will give us a little bit more information. Not too much information than we already knew. It's going to continue to head down south. I guess the only thing is it is going to be slightly more towards launch site as we would expect. So those who are on that eastern side of Dome are going to have that journey through. And for a team like RRQ, for example, you're going to have to get through 2 squads before you can even get into zone.
Yeah, Sentinels I kind of like the position they took, actually. That kind of eggshell, broken eggshell that is it's kind of outside of Dome down to that southern side. It's isolated,
yeah,
as far as the rest of the lobby is concerned. You can play that for quite some time without really revealing yourself to the rest of the lobby. Launch site's going to get busy because there's multiple rooms that can be played, multiple levels of elevation that can be played. But Sentinels separating themselves from the lobby here and will be safe for quite some time. So if they can hold that eastern side with RRQ, with Relove there, they're going to be in a really good spot here.
Well, GK and Zeta looks like they are actually very much getting involved in an engagement now. And we've already got 1 knock.
Satuki finds the kill onto Dropped, and now he wants more. Flying forward, trying to stop the drag potentially from an alter play. It's going to be Zeta who get the first kill. Just looking elsewhere, you can see the GK have actually hit the Void Nexus to get out of there, so they're going to have to find a way to get their teammate back into the game here. There is a crafter over at Tree, which they're heading towards at the moment, but as a duo, always a little bit risky to take those extra few seconds on your rotate to get your teammate back in.
And we saw how busy Tree was earlier, so even if you are able to get back up, you know full well there's going to be a lot on that western side as we do check in with Alliance after their disappointing performance yesterday. But if we know anything about Alliance, they can always bounce back. And I think that's what kind of the differing points we were making, Mark. You were talking about how some teams from EMEA, they can perform very well and then fall off later, but then we also get the slower starts from some of the bigger teams at times, and Alliance have fallen victim to that here. But again, they always seem to find a way, and you almost feel that expectation that they will. There's no doubt in my mind Alliance are going to get to that last final lobby, which is kind of crazy.
Long way to go until they get there, though, and if they perform like they did yesterday, the road is going to be extremely long. Keon gets absolutely torn apart. That's a 2nd kill for Satuki for Zeta Division, who seem to be loving these engagements at the moment. They are getting the better of GK, and they knew that they were going to have to head to Tree to res. Therefore, just mirrored their rotation, looking for those extra kills, and they found one of them.
Have Zeta bitten off more they can chew, though, because actually Trinity are now going to be here. Zeta came looking for GK. GK kind of used the dropship as a little bit of a diversion, and it has brought in the attention of Trinity, who it's going to be a straight 3v3 between the 2 teams.
GK, 2 of them managed to get away at, even after the knock came in, and they got that res. And for Alliance, it's not looking good again. A little bit of a scratch of the chin coming in from Hackis. That's unlucky, has to go back through the Void Nexus. Zeddy Esports, and the man with the most aura in the ALGS picks up the kills. Duke looking good.
Seems to have happened a few too many times so far for Alliance, where one player has to retreat and start to res, as Alliance fans not looking too happy about their performance right now, but they are still alive. That's what matters, and we'll see if they can get back to a full 3 a little bit later on.
Well, Trinity versus Zeta continues here. Igarashi taking a little bit of damage, having to jump through a little portal to get back to Rohai's teammates there and find a little bit of at least cover and safety in the hands of his teammates. Scans now coming in. Bowls will be useless for a few seconds on the caustic, and using that opportunity to push, knowing those abilities will not be able to be used. It's Yuka who gets the first knock.
You have to take advantage of it. If you get that hit, if you're on that seer, you have to call that to the rest of the team. They're going to see the scan. It negates that legend so easily and comfortably, and now it's just a matter of playing cleanup crew.
Rohai down as well. Trinity with just 1 player alive. Managed to scarper away, but the way the Zeta Division are fighting right now, they are looking ready for any challenge that approaches them. However, they do have a long way to go, still towards the zone. A lot of busyness happening on that eastern side of where the zone is going to be pulling. As we head back over to Elite Esports, they are safe inside of the next zone, as Trinity will be eliminated next. It's going to be Henchman who finishes them off.
Is it going to be a similar story for Zeta Division, though? Are they going to try and approach that western side of launch site? We spoke about it in the previous series. It's such a difficult task to try and take here, to try and go up on top. Elsewhere, you've got the likes of Gaming Gladiators still holding their position as they had from the start. They've been joined by JD Gaming by the looks of things. There's Alliance also a backup to at least a 2 from what I can see. Make it 3. Hackis also on his feet. So that's job 1 is done. Now job 2 is being able to stabilize a little bit.
Long way to go for them as well, with just 20 seconds to go. At least Unlucky has done what he needed to do by getting his team back in. JD Gaming The worrying start continues here as they fall out of the lobby a little bit early as well. GG picked them up as RRQ will follow as well. A lot of teams starting to fall on this rotate.
Huge fight being won from Gaming Gladiators off screen, because we mentioned it. Gaming Gladiators, they took that position right from the start and they weren't built up, but they do win their first engagement they were tested with.
Well, Urice is on 1 HP. And now he's on 0. Arufa, the last player alive in that fight, will now go over to launch site once again because Zeta Division versus Elite is taking place. And Zeta Division are on their backs. Elite living up to their name at the moment when it comes to team fights. They are winning everything.
Zone closing now though, so all these teams are going to be forced in. The likes of Alliance, AG Global, all going to be up there as Zeddy get eliminated. PXX go down as well. Teams dropping because that zone puts them in uncomfortable positions.
And the zone is pulling hard to launch site as well. There's only one team actually inside of where the next zone will be. That's going to be GG. Up on that high ground of the race against Sentinels. Winning that race has paid off for them. AG Global a long way away from where the next zone is going to be. They have to work their way all the way uphill here towards launch site, and they're getting hit by the caustic already.
Alliance have lost one on their way in. Make it 2. Make it all 3. Alliance go down as AG, they're going to check in elsewhere. GK Esports trying to approach, but they are being absolutely held out by AG at the moment, and unfortunately they're going to get pushed into the likes of TIE and For Fun.
There's so many teams down on this southern side. AG we can see on our screens. We got VK Gaming looking at this, GK For Fun, TIE, all of these teams essentially being held out by Nemesis, who have that high ground in that position. We checked in with them a little bit earlier on in this game. Yanya taking some damage, has to back down, and even though the Hemlock is dressed in gold at the moment, he has to get some shields back and make himself good looking too.
The two major winners of this zone pool, Gaming Gladiators and Elite Esports, they're going to have the most real estate to work with, as now AG starting to push up a little bit. They see weakness, they're like sharks in the water and smell the blood, as VK Gaming will get taken down in 11th.
A little bit of help coming in from Relove as well, as VK will fall. 34 seconds until that zone closes, and everybody has to find somewhere to call themselves safe. There's an L-Star on the pickup here for Sacred, and if you want it in anyone's hands, if you're a Nemesis fan, it's going to be his.
Nemesis in a pretty good position as well, because they'll be able to capitalize on a lot of the damage being done right here, right now from AG, as his GK will be finally taken down after their venture throughout the entire map to get back up. 9 squads now remain, and AG just continues to push.
AG probably thinking KP is the way forward here with this zone pulling so far away from them, and TIE, RIP, they will fall in the lobby as well as AG continue to find kills. With that, we have 8 squads remaining in this lobby, and that creates a little bit of space here for AG to move in. Not a lot of teams alive, means they can at least walk up.
Interesting decision to be made here for AG though. If they go one way, they could potentially third party NIP and For Fun. The other, it's a straight 3v3 versus Nemesis. They're not going to know which. It's going to be a complete blind guess.
Q through here. Look at this cheeky little Q coming from Yanya, using every single inch of that Void Passage to get them into a safe position, and now For Fun, Yanya's after you.
Interestingly, NIP actually went through the other way, so now they'll be taking the fight against Nemesis. We're going to get 2 straight 3v3s in theory, but neither team feels comfortable to take it. AG just taking so much damage on the approach.
Ninjas in Pajamas just falling as well, but at least there's some points on the board for them. Sentinels also eliminated. Yanya on his back, and Jaguares the Niesel might be not long for this game. AG Global are gone. 5 squads now remain.
So it is still Elite and Gaming Gladiators winning out on all of this. DCG are also struggling in the moment, back against the wall, just trying to survive. As GG, they're just pressing out. They're making sure they take as much room as they can. Don't allow anyone to wrap behind them. And sadly, I think DCG are probably going to fall because of it.
For Fun Esports also gone. Zane, you can see the intensity in his face in the player cam as well. He wants to finish off DCG, and with this angle up on the high ground and with this Hemlock singing a tune, he might just do it now.
Have to be careful, there are other parties, there are other teams who can kind of get eyes on, one of them being Nemesis. But the 3 major teams I pointed out earlier in there, really positive positions, they're all going to survive as DCG will be wiped. And that leaves us to Nemesis, Gaming Gladiators, and Elite Esports. Teams that are currently really looking across of where this zone's going to be going and where they can play from this point. GG, they took this position right at the start of the game. Elite have been working on this western side for quite some time. Nemesis certainly in the most difficult spot right now.
We want to talk about our aggro game. There's still 10 seconds left on zone 5. We're not even at the final zone, and there's only 3 squads alive in the lobby. Nemesis, Elite, and GG. GG have the best position. They have the high ground that they can work down from. Nemesis have to move furthest. Elite are safe. So eyes on Nemesis. How do they make their way in towards this zone?
Yeah, which way did Nemesis go, right? That's going to dictate how this game goes. They have Alter to try and manipulate the map in their favor. They could kind of go dead central and play some of these stairs, try and use any of these objects to stay alive, but you are getting absolutely ripped apart on your approach.
The long boy doing the work here. Albrelelli and Skittlecakes feeling the wrath of the longbow in the hands of Henchman. Light's trying to make sure that he collapses onto this final player to see if they can clean up these final pieces and add the KP to their collection. GG in the meantime, by the way, looking to wrap behind Elite, and there might be an opportunity here for Sacred to get Skittlecakes back on his feet.
Yeah, GG trying to capitalize, but by doing so, as you say, it opens things up for Nemesis to potentially gain a little bit more room, a little bit more space, because now Light's gone down, and GG have taken so much room here.
GG have taken the game by the looks of things. Elite Esports are down, and GG move forward. It's a Game 1 win for GG. The form of yesterday continues into Day 2.